Dear Sir or Madam, my name is Krzysztof WOSEK and I represent the University of Economics in Katowice, specifically the Department of Human Resource Management. The subject of my study is the competencies used in the onboarding process. I invite you to listen to my speech. Creating onboarding programs is an extremely important and difficult task for human resources specialists. A poorly conducted onboarding process may destroy the benefits from employing talented employees. Organizations that consider onboarding an unnecessary cost-generating process hire new employees in an inefficient way that leads to unpleasant experiences. This gives poor results and causes difficulties in using the possessed skills and competencies. In order to create a program that would be helpful to new employees, it is substantial to precisely understand its essence, as well as to adopt a proactive attitude allowing for success within the onboarding program. In order to understand exactly what the onboarding process is, you will be presented with an analysis of several definitions. According to one of them, onboarding is a process related to introducing an employee to the workplace and other employees, their goals, values, principles and socialization in organizational culture. Another definition says that it is a process in which a new employee is helped to quickly and smoothly adapt to social aspects and performance standards. Finding definitions in the literature on the subject, it can be noted that TN points out that onboarding is a much broader concept than introducing an employee to the organization. Its goal is to start productive work as soon as possible for a new employee. The source literature also provides information that onboarding assimilates new employees in the company and equips them with the tools and resources necessary to achieve professional and personal success. Karambelka and Bhattacharya argue that onboarding is a strategic necessity. The author like Snell shares a similar point of view, defining onboarding as a multi-stage strategic process. According to the author, onboarding can be considered as a bridge connecting the promises made by new employees with the actual results of their productivity. The source literature also defines onboarding as a process of transforming new employees into members corresponding to the organizational culture. The last of the definitions presented is that onboarding is a process that includes critical assimilation functions, such as relationship building, goal clarity and employee performance measures. Moreover, onboarding can be defined as a process that increases maintenance, productivity and commitment. Onboarding is a business process that facilitates integration with the organization, but also a personal process that sets the direction and expectations. All the definitions presented above have a lot in common, which allows us to conclude that the onboarding process is a strategic activity necessary for the proper functioning of the organization. In the further part of the study, various approaches to the goals of the onboarding programs will be presented. Suggs claims that a well-organized onboarding process eliminates task ambiguities, conflicts and stressful situations. These elements can be identified as the goals of onboarding programs which make a new employee achieve job satisfaction, organizational commitment and acceptance. Furthermore, it is worth mentioning that in the source literature one can read that the purpose of onboarding programs is to create attractive and positive experiences for newly hired employees. Another author indicates that the purpose of onboarding is to make a new employee move from the initial position to the point where they are fully effective and independent in the professional performance. The mentioned transformation should be smooth, fluid and as quick as possible. Other authors point out that the purpose of onboarding is to increase a new employee's trust towards the organization and reduce the stress and its symptoms. The research cited by T.N. Bauer shows that a properly conducted onboarding process should lead to a higher level of job satisfaction, commitment and efficiency. Moreover, according to the author, a good onboarding program should reflect in a low level of employee turnover and a reduced level of stress that occurs in new employees. A well-executed onboarding program is a very difficult and complex task. Therefore, one person cannot be responsible for it, as there are many significant assignments and functions to fulfill. The above-mentioned activities are divided between the HR department, the boss, coaches and supporting colleagues, so-called buddies. All of the people listed above work carefully on a custom-designed onboarding process that will keep a new employee engaged. In the long run, the above-mentioned commitment will turn into productivity that allows for the achievement of the assumed goals. With regard to the above, the author of the study plans to conduct empirical research on what competencies the people involved in introducing employees to the organization should have. As part of the research, the author of this study would like to obtain 3 sets of competencies related to employees welcoming newcomers, people who start the onboarding process, colleagues supporting new employees, so-called buddies, and teams that will introduce new employees to their duties and professional tasks. In order to obtain the results, the author of the study plans to conduct empirical research on a sample of at least 400 respondents who have completed the onboarding process in randomly selected companies. The author plans to carry out research that will not restrict the group of respondents due to the size of the company or the origin of its capital. The obtained results will allow for a selection of appropriate people with certain competencies required to perform specific tasks as part of the implementation process. Based on the analyzed literature and the research conducted so far in separate areas, the following hypotheses can be proposed. The first hypothesis: people starting onboarding who have high social competencies introduce employees faster. Second hypothesis: people starting onboarding who have low social competencies introduce employees more slowly. Third hypothesis: employees introduced by buddies with high social competencies achieve full effectiveness faster. The fourth hypothesis: employees introduced by buddies with low social competencies achieve full effectiveness more slowly. The fifth hypothesis: employees introduced by teams with high social competencies achieve full effectiveness faster. Sixth hypothesis: employees introduced by teams with low social competencies achieve full effectiveness more slowly. It is worth paying attention to the fact that modern organizations should design the processes of new employee onboarding in a personalized way. Furthermore, in order to make onboarding a process that meets the expectations of new employees, it is worth learning about their preferences regarding the competencies of the people who will conduct the process. Thank you very much for listening to the presentation on my study. Thank you for your time, and I invite you to read the content of the article.